In this video, I'm going to show you 3 advanced but quite easy post-production techniques to help you address one of the biggest issues we have as aerial cinematographers, balancing the exposure of bright skies and dark landscapes. Let's get into it. Stewart here, pleasure to see you as always. Now, we are always asked, what do I do when I've got a really bright sky in my shot and a really dark landscape? You can't move the position of the sun, you can't move the landscape. The only thing you can do is move the drone and the camera that's on it. And this is where, at the time of capture, your comprehension of photography and filmmaking principles is essential. But even if you've got that locked down, a lot of these circumstances are out with our control. On a recent trip to the Isle of Arran, I had to take advantage of some post-production trickery. The days were so short there, I just did not get the light I was looking for. So let's start with the first tip, and that is gradient masks. Here's a nice Mini 3 Pro clip, but I was too late to catch the sun illuminating the valley. As a consequence, the top of the mountains are in the sunlight and I am in the shade. Here we are inside Final Cut Pro, and you can see we've got the primary color correction done. We now want to target me, so we will add another color board. Now bear with me a second and you'll see where we are going with this. Color grade with me in mind, so let's boost the highlights, boost the midtones. We can be quite aggressive here. We need to add some more saturation back, so we'll crank that up a little bit. And because I'm in the shade, the white balance is completely different, so let's remove some blue to warm that part of the image up a little bit. Let's go to this little icon and add a shape mask. Now we can drag it down, straighten it out into a gradient and target the bottom half of the image. Look at the difference in the before and after. In fact, let's get more aggressive here. Let's target the exposure a little bit more. We'll even add some more saturation. Before, after. What a huge difference. We can hit view masks to get some kind of visual depiction of the image that we are targeting, and as you can see, we're hitting the bottom half of the image. You can adjust the feather so the impact is a little bit less severe as we make the transition between the two parts of the image, but on the whole we have completely transformed the bottom half of this image, and I think if you don't go too crazy with this effect, you can really get a nice natural improvement to your shots. Now, strictly speaking, what I demonstrated there was a shape mask being used like a graduated mask, but there is actually a graduated mask effect inside Final Cut Pro here, and it's maybe more indicative of what you'll find in other video editing software. Duplicate the clip that you are working with, go across to your effects browser, and in the masks category, look for graduated mask or something similar. Switch off the bottom clip, so we're just working with the new clip, and there you can see we have a graduated mask that we can manipulate and make sure we're targeting the bottom half of the image, because that's what we want to brighten, essentially, to draw more attention and balance the exposure between the sky and the ground. We can just do that, and with an extreme example there, you can see we're just targeting the bottom half of the image. Because we're dealing with the shadow part of the image, the colors aren't as vivid, so we can add some saturation, reduce a little bit of blue to warm things up. We're trying to balance the sky and the landscape. And then we can make any little tweaks that we need to get the look that we're going for. And look, you can see a dramatic change when we switch the top layer off and on. Seamlessly they play together, and I think, again, if you're not too crazy here, you can get a nice natural effect. Now, sometimes using a gradient mask is like taking a hammer to break an egg. It's not the most discreet tool, so we can take that one step further with a color mask. I'm going to demonstrate this inside Final Cut Pro 10. You'll need to dig around your own video editing software to see if you have an equivalent, but if not, hopefully it inspires you anyway. Here's a really flat shot. The light really isn't inspiring at all, so on we put our gradient mask. It's an improvement, but it's artificial. You can see a line across the middle of the screen there because we don't have a compliant clip, essentially, that works with a nice straight line. So let's fix it with a color mask. Go up to the same icon and this time select Add Color Mask. With the little dropper you can drag and select all the various colors and hit View Masks to see what it is you've selected. Here we've actually selected too much, so let's repeat the process and go down to Soften, and that helps us fill in some of the gaps and just smooth the transition between the color mask and the existing part of the image that's going to remain. In this example, if we take the exposure sliders up far too high, you can see we've successfully targeted the underexposed landscape and we're not affecting the sky with any of these color corrections. So now we can just adjust to our taste, adding some pop into the landscape to compensate for the fact that A, the light was very flat on the day, and B, the sky is much brighter than the landscape and we want to balance out the exposure of the overall image. It goes without saying that none of this is a substitute for filming properly at the time of capture, but it's not a bad alternative, because the reality is a lot of these circumstances when we film with drones especially, they're out of our control. So we just need to take what we get sometimes, and knowing in advance what we can do in post to fix a shot while we're looking at it on our controller, it's very, very helpful. If you're at the beginning of your drone journey, do grab yourself a copy of our free ebook, From Drone Zero to Drone Hero, 37 tips to get you flying like a filmmaker. And if you don't mind me just plugging our 9-hour drone cinematography masterclass 3.0, check out the link in the description, watch the promo video, quite a piece of work, you won't be disappointed. Anyway, until next time, happy flying.